So today we're talking about the problems with the educational system in America and what can be developed over here in Africa. So make sure you stay tuned.
What you sing as giving them a type of family.
What's going on, world? Welcome back to T3&Me. It's your man Tim Ford Jr. here. And first, I want to say thank you to the people that have tuned in right now. If you're watching this video, you are a special individual because you're watching this. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you've already been a subscriber this entire time, thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. We thank you for it all. We don't take it for granted that you guys find value in the content that we're producing. So we thank you guys for tuning in, all right? And to all the new people, Karibusana to the journey where we show people love and show people what's really going on over here on the continent of Africa and what our people are doing to build over here. So once again, Karibusana to the show. Yes, so Karibusana to our dada YaYa, Karibusana dada. Yes, Karibu. Yes, so Dada is here. She is working on something very, very amazing, a few amazing things right now. She's in the process of building a school. And she's developed a documentary that's going to combat a lot of the mess that we've been taught and a lot of the things that we've been dealing with this entire time. So I'm going to let Dada have the floor to give a little bit about her foundation and where she started from and why she's doing this right now. So Karibusana, Dada.
Asante sana, kaka. So basically, I have been teaching for over 10 years now. I'm originally I was born in New York, raised in the South.
Yeah.
Lived most of my life in Texas.
Yeah.
And my mother's also a teacher. And from her experience and from me also teaching, I came to find out that American educational systems are not the answer at all.
Yeah.
And there was just a lot of injustices that were just normalized in public schools in America, and I just felt like I can keep doing this and, you know, was that the definition of insanity, or I can do something else. So during the pandemic, I came here to Tanzania. You
said at the beginning or like?
At the beginning, So the year before I had studied at the University of Dar es Salaam. I had a Fulbright fellowship there.
Okay.
But then the year after, you know, I made friends during my fellowship, and we were locked down in Houston. I was teaching in Third Ward, Houston, Texas. We were locked down, and I was calling them, you know, on WhatsApp, like, hey, you know, is there a mask?
How is it? Yeah.
And they all said, we're fine, Karibu. And I was like, they're telling stories, you know, just making stuff up. But come to find out, it was the truth. That's
what's up. So you came over here in the beginning of the pandemic, and you basically took a chance on yourself because you saw that something, you know, it wasn't right over there. And you mentioned how you were a teacher, and it gave you the inspiration for this. I was looking at some research and looking at the work that you've done, and you shared a post that really touched me because I dealt with something similar in one of my family members. You talked about how you were in a special needs class. You were the teacher in a special needs class, and that student was actually in that class and he wasn't supposed to be. You knew he was bright. You knew that he was on a level that he was not supposed to be sitting in a special needs class. And you talked about how that injustice made you feel and how, you know, it forms and it makes you do what you do. So, you know, talk about how you were in the special needs class and you saw how the system was benefiting off of putting that label on children.
Okay, yeah, so basically, pretty much all the years that I taught, I was teaching special ed. And, you know, some people laugh at that, but it actually takes a lot, in my opinion, it takes more expertise. It takes more of a certain kind of touch to teach special ed because it's a variety of things going on. You have students that have autism. You have some students that are maybe bound to wheelchairs and stuff like that. And then you also have people that are not even supposed to be there. So that particular student, well, it's many students. When I came into special ed, you know, they say the most restrictive environment So they could either be coded a 41, a 42, or a 43, which is an alternative school, or like a JJAP is what we call like a juvenile justice school.
Yeah.
So those students, a lot of times, they are in inner city schools, and they are of a certain kind of hue, a certain kind of melanated skin, and they're not even really supposed to be there.
Man.
They just maybe have an attitude, or maybe they're just not following the culture of the school, so it's something
that they have to deal with.
And and it's not, they're not supposed to be there. There's no problem with them. They're just there because the educational professionals, they say, oh, okay, well, I don't like this kid, I don't want him in my face. I know his mama ain't gonna come to the meeting, so I'm just gonna write this little ARD paperwork to say, ARD means admission, review, and dismissal paperwork to input them into special ed. And I was even approached by a principal to put a child in special ed without the proper paperwork.
So because they knew that the child was vulnerable and their parents doesn't show up to parent-teacher conference, doesn't really care about what's going on, they could dump them into that class. And what was the benefit of the school? What did they get for doing that? Since the principal reached out to you, the audacity of that, what was his benefit of putting that child into that condition?
Yeah, so a lot of times they take the rowdy students. I'm not gonna lie, some of these students are rowdy, but then it's like, okay, then give them an alternative that's not that restrictive to help them, cope with their, their mental health skills. But for them, for the school side, what they don't tell you is on the back end, a child that is counted as special ed, they get twice the funding for that child as opposed to a general ed student.
Wow. So it's essentially like an investment for them.
Yeah, right. And the problem is admission, review, and dismissal. But the problem is most of those students never get dismissed from special education because the incentive is to keep them there so the school can get more money.
Wow. So they deliberately put our children into a mental state to keep them in that point just to get money.
Yes, sir.
So I've been saying this the entire time, you guys. I've been saying how the school system has done us wrong, how they intentionally done things. Now we're having someone that's in education that's giving us the backside of it and telling us how they actually benefit from it. So, wow. The fact that, yes, that's heavy. The fact that you came over here though, you saw the problem, you lived in it, you worked it. You was working in it, you was like, no, I need to do something. I need to change this. I need to figure it out. And you came here and you gained the inspiration to create the alternative.
Yes, sir.
You created something that is able to tear down what was built. So talk about, how did you come to the point where you wanted to create an academy? Talk about who inspired you. Talk about what got you to the point where you're thinking like, okay, I could really create an academy to help my people and break their mind from this mess that they put us under, the labels and all of that.
So when I had my Fulbright fellowship, I learned about the founding father here of Tanzania, Julius Kambarage Nyerere.
Hey, Babu.
There you go on the shirt.
Babu, Karibusana.
And basically I learned that, number one, he was a teacher before he led the revolution here. So that gave me the internal power to say, wow, I can actually do something that is helpful and people will respond to it. Because I also find that, education in America is so messed up that people don't even really hold a lot of respect for teachers anymore, because they just see them as agents of the state, which most teachers are. But here, I saw the respect for educators, not just in the history that I was learning about Nyerere, but in the culture, that the culture, lifts him up and lifts educators up, and actually sees it as a good thing to go to school and to be educated and get more knowledge and wisdom. So basically for me, I said, okay, well, if Nyerere can do it, if Magufuli can do it, because he was also a teacher before he became the president here, if they could do it, then I could do something that can influence us for some positive growth. Yes,
that's what's up. The founding fathers of this country, you guys don't understand. In the moment of the pandemic, at the height of the pandemic, many of us only saw Magufuli at the time. Many of us are like, okay, that man is bold, that man is saying what he's saying, he's moving in that way. Let's go see what he's talking about in that country. Not knowing that Nyerere was just on another level doing the same thing. So the foundation is even stronger than what we saw. When we saw over there, it was like a call. But when we got here, we saw the foundation of what the call was. So when you get here and you find out about Nyerere, it's like, wow, now it all makes sense. And then you get to interact with the people. It puts you into a totally different perspective about, okay, what we can really do with strategically putting our minds on the right thing. Because I watched a little bit of your documentary and you talked about how Nyerere actually did it without violence.
Yeah.
Like he achieved independence without violence. That's difficult. And how, like, the fact that, you know, he did that, that's something that's really, like, impactful. So how did that, I know it was a reason why you mentioned that. Like, why did you, what was the significance of you mentioning the fact that he did it without violence?
Most definitely. So, you know, now you have things like critical race theory being a hot button topic. You know, everybody wants to feel like they know something about education in America, but okay, fine. So it's like, even you could see like those lawmakers that went to the place in Tennessee after the school shooting, that they got kicked out. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so we can't even speak the truth. Okay, now we know we're in a police state. Yeah. And this is not just, I have a gun to your head violence. This is now mental chaos and destruction as well. So for me, when I learned that Nyerere was able to do so much and not even lift a sword,
right?
You see, like that's a real leader. Yeah. That people listen to you, and you don't have to get violent. You don't have to get crazy. And I find that that's also that's Tanzanian culture. Exactly. You know, people here don't. They're not. Their initial response is not to get violent. And so for me, coming from you know, a place in the West where everyone has a gun, and particularly in Texas, everyone has a gun. I said, okay, well, there's got to be something here that's different than what's going on in every other part of the world.
So you came and you got the inspiration to create your academy that you're creating. What's the name of your academy again?
Wasco Academy. Wasco means thought or imagination in Kiswahili. And Wasco is here to raise the critical thinking skills and imagination levels of our youth.
Since we're here, got to show y'all some of the products real quick.
I'm not your body ready. I'm not your body.
Yeah, natural product.
Not your body.
Yeah.
Not your body.
Yeah. Yeah, come closer. Come. Busy Beachy. So where did you get the inspiration to name your academy Wasco?
So Wasco came from the idea of ideas. I got kind of meta with my understanding of it when I learned that it means thought, ideas, or imagination. I really felt like those are the things that our children are having such a difficult time with in schools to begin with. Is how can they critically think? How can they invent stuff even? I mean, why is patent law, you know, not taught in schools?
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
Why is that not a part of financial literacy or even math class?
So is that a part of your literacy, patent law?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
So what are some of the key points that you would like to highlight that's a part of your literacy?
So in our curriculum, we have African sacred texts as one of the classes that I'm really proud about. I feel like also as someone who believes in a higher power, someone who believes in my creator, I feel like there's such a huge understanding of that here in Africa. Like, well, the white man didn't bring us Christianity. We had our own systems before the colonizers came. Even before the Arabs came, there were systems here. So we'll be focusing on Bantu and Kemetic cosmology and comparative religion. So I believe that our children need to know about these other religions, but in a way that is rooted in their African identity first. So that's a character of the school, one of them. Another one is we will be teaching financial literacy. So as we know, we have been oppressed mostly through capital. There has been capital warfare against our people throughout time. So we will be learning some of the ins and outs of these corners and these you know, back ends that people like to take. So we'll be learning about estates, wills, trusts, and patent law, because I do believe that our children need to learn how to invent stuff.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do this, let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do it all the way.
That's real. So what's the age range of the students that can come to your academy?
Yeah, so right now we're starting at 11 through 15 years old.
Okay.
And as I've seen in my own educational experience, is the middle school time is a very difficult time to get well-trained educators into middle schools. Most teachers don't want to work in middle schools because, I don't know, puberty, whatever. They're not as cute as the little ones, but I find that time is like, during that puberty time is when you can really make a difference and really change minds at that point, and it sticks.
Okay, so that's based upon your expertise and where you've been educating, you've seen that that's the spot where people need the most love and they can benefit from it the most.
Yes, most definitely.
So with your academy, do they have to come to Africa? How is that? How will you teach them?
Yeah, so I am currently based here in Tanzania, but the school is online. So students from all over the world can log in every day. We teach Monday through Thursday, no school Fridays. And you have to come on time, and we end at a certain time,
so,
just like regular school.
Hold on. So it's not one of those courses that we're used to where people can just show up and do the work and have on their own time. You have students in their seat at the computer at the set time.
That's correct. And I find that is helpful, especially for people that are in the States, families that are looking to get away from school shootings, abusive teachers, just an oppressive system in general. This is more catered to families like that want their children to be learning in a safe place.
Yeah, so this is like an alternative to a structure set in place for their children to be in a safe environment, which is their home.
Exactly. I come in your PJs. It's fine.
That's dope. You said come in your PJs. That's real.
As long as you're learning.
Yeah. So with the age range that you have, are they all in the same class at the same time, or is it separate?
Yes, so that's another characteristic of my Wasco Academy is we believe that children it's easier for them to learn with each other, number one, but it's also easier to learn at different developmental stages because the older students are helping the younger students, and even the younger students are making sure that the older students are on point. So I find that style of learning really helps because they're able to learn from each other as well.
That's dope. So you thought about this on a whole nother level.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, of course, what is your background? How are you qualified to be able to teach them, and why should they be comfortable bringing their children to you?
Yes, so I have been teaching for over 10 years now. Okay. Like I said, majority of those years were in special education, but that could also mean students that were in general ed coming to my remedial class. Okay. I've also taught subjects like ELAR, and I'm licensed in the state of Texas, and yeah, my mom's an educator as well. Yeah. I've also done, as I mentioned, the Fulbright Fellowship and other extracurricular activities like that to develop myself professionally.
Yeah, that's what's up, Dada. That's what's up. Saying you're in the process of completing another degree, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
that's fine.
All right,
that's already in the bag.
Okay. Yeah. It's already in the bag. Yeah. So talk about what you just put in the bag, Dada.
Yes. So I'm getting my second master's at the University of Houston online. I graduate next week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. This degree, I wanted to do it because every degree that I had from this point was how to build myself professionally, but I was lacking creatively. My Wasco Academy will house all of the educational content that we will create in the future. Okay. So basically, curriculum, which we're starting now, next school year, documentaries, which we started now.
Yeah. When is next school year? When is the start date?
August 27th.
August 27th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Enrollment's open now.
Enrollment's open now. Children's from 11 to 15. Classes start August 27th. You have a place where your middle school children can come get a good foundational education from a Dada that's over here in Africa, getting the inspiration from the late great Nyerere. A lot of people want to come here and are trying to find sources. So it's like, I tell everyone here, if you're here and you're a creator and you have creativity within you, by you being here on the soil, whatever you're creating from your creative source will be raining a loud voice to the people all around the world for them to come and get the message. Because just by you coming here and being melanated, coming back home and doing whatever your creative process is, when you come back, your source will be from the soil of here. So she's embodying what Nyerere has done, what Nyerere has started over here. And she's created an educational institution to help out people break the mental shackles of what we've been unfortunately forced to deal with. So, Karibusana, congratulations.
Asante.
Yes, thank you for creating it. I know how difficult it is. I watched my wife put together her academy and I was amazed. So it takes a lot of mental fortitude, and you know, once again, congratulations, and I hope you do well.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
You're welcome, yes. And so, let's talk about the next piece of art that you're creating and you've been inspired to create being here, which is Teacher Teach Me No Nonsense. That's your documentary that you're creating, right?
Teacher Don't Teach Me Nonsense.
Yes.
It's inspired by a Fela Kuti song where he's basically talking about all of the nonsense that teachers teach us. So this, yes, this documentary is anti-nonsense. And that's what Nyerere and leaders like Magufuli were. They were about no nonsense.
Yeah.
So
order. Give me 1 second. Order. Order, no nonsense. Walk in a certain way, be a certain way. Hold yourself to a certain standard of a person. It's not about being rude or disrespectful. It's about holding you accountable to what you're supposed to be doing as a person. What you're called to do as a person. We're all supposed to be in order. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. No, and for me, that's what they taught me. So I'm like, okay, if I'm a teacher, and I'm being taught by these leaders, these strong men, how can I now disseminate that information to other people?
Yes.
Particularly, you know, students in America where we come from, they don't learn about leaders like Mwalimu.
Yeah,
You
never
know?
heard about him.
Never heard about him.
Yeah.
If you're lucky and you go to a good school, you might learn about Mandela. But that's the only one. There's Patrice Lumumba, there's Samora Machel, there's so many other, and Kwame Nkrumah, people that were actually working with Mwalimu and that he supported, you know, for a long time when Mozambique was getting their independence, he supported Frelimo.
Even Malcolm X came here before he was assassinated.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they don't want us to know that there was a connection here. And you know, I see these, you know, stupid quarrels on the internet about how African people don't want us here.
Tell
and
them
it's like
look at the camera.
It's like, how do they not want us here when they were fighting for so long to get us back? We just don't know about it because our history books don't teach us, but our history books are not written by us. So my Wasco Academy and what the brother is doing here and what other people are doing here is to combat that. That now we see, okay, wow, these people were actually waiting for us and they were trying to get us to come back in all the ways possible. So this work is really to combat a lot of those, you know, just stereotypes and misconceptions that we have about each other.
Yeah, good. That's a good foundation. That's a good piece of art, a good piece of work that we need to be created over here. Man, we've been fighting for so long as a group of people to try and figure out, like, this system is not right. We knew something wasn't right about being in that environment, and to come here and know that there was people like literally fighting tooth and nail to try and get us back and trying to figure out how we can come together as a people. It's so rewarding and so comforting to come over here. So, you know, this work will embody the call in another way to other individuals. By you being here working and teaching people's children about this, they'll be like, hold on, you'll be inspiring them to say, well, maybe I could come over there too and get that same type of healing and understanding.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's a lot of healing that we need.
Yeah.
And part of that healing is through education.
It's the foundation.
You know, we're on this platform of YouTube, and it's a free platform, and that's great. You know, it's free now. And you can learn anything that you want to learn through YouTube right now.
Man, it's
so,
crazy, ain't it?
You know, everybody has a smartphone. You know, all around the world, people got smartphones. Some people don't got smartphones, but a lot of people have smartphones. You know, use the technology that we have. You know, before AI takes it over, because well, first of all, they can never take it over. They'll never take the touch.
Right. Right, you need that human in there somewhere to make it have that razzle dazzle.
Exactly.
Yeah, they can try, but with you know, with that being said, you're definitely focused on the future and focused on, you know, creating a foundation for people to be strong in their mind and strong mentally. So in closing, what is your overall vision for your academy and your documentary, and tell people where they can find you at and support?
Asante.
Yeah, Karibu.
So the late great Dr. John Pombe Magufuli, his motto was Hapakazi too. Here all we do is work. And for me, in my opinion, you know, I don't have time to just be out there doing whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have time to just be out there doing whatever.
Nah, that's for real.
The continent is calling us home. This is our home, and there are brothers and sisters here that want to link arms with us and gain our perspective. And you should also want to come and gain their perspective, because they have a rich history that we don't know about. And so my goal with this platform is really just to help people in kind of closing some of those gaps that they may have, you know, in their knowledge or educationally, particularly our children. So my Wasco Academy, www.mywasoacademy.com. There you can also find information about the film, Teacher Don't Teach Me Nonsense. We're currently shopping it around and going to film festivals. So we're looking forward to distribution here in the future. And really just continuing on the work that we're doing, you know, lifting each other up. I think that is extremely important. You know, that was the legacy of Nyerere. That was the legacy of Magufuli. They didn't just do it as Tanzanians. They did it as Kenyans, Tanzanians, Angolans. You know, these borders are imaginary anyway.
That's true.
So, you know, when we talk about Africa, it's Africa. It's the home. It's our home. So that's what we're looking to do and accomplish. And hopefully within the next few years, we'll be able to have a brick and mortar campus solely catered to students here on the continent.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. You'll make it, Dada. You'll make
Asante.
it. So you've come over here and you've created 2 amazing pieces of art. And Karibu, you know, a lot of women are afraid to come over here and make the leap all the way over to Africa. And, you know, they want to do it, but they feel like there's a piece of them that should stay and not come over here because of safety and things of like that. So how do you feel coming over here as a woman and being free now, and able to create your art? How do you feel as a woman coming over here?
I would say it doesn't matter where you go. If it's a new place, there's going to be some maybe anxiety or concern because it's something that you don't know. But I would say you got to go anyway. You got to leap over that uncomfortability, because a lot of times it's just being in a police state. Like you find yourself second guessing your every move. So then you leave the police state, you leave the prison, and then it's like, okay, am I going to die?
Man,
am I going to be poor now?
That's true.
You know, and it's like, really, for me, honestly, it may sound cheesy, but it's prayer. God got me and my daily bread. Amen. So if you're walking in that spirit, then you'll be taken care of. Amen. You know, that's how I see it. But as a woman here in Tanzania, to be specifically, I don't feel unsafe. Even when I'm walking at nighttime, I don't feel unsafe. You know, I had a gun in Texas. I slept with it by my bed. I don't sleep with a gun anymore. Hold on.
A lot of my Tanzanian viewers cannot believe that we carry guns in America. And you can see Dada, YaYa here. This woman here had to carry a gun to protect herself. Yes, that was the reality over there, unfortunately. And now she feels a sense of peace to where she don't even miss her gun. It's something over here, y'all. We're telling y'all.
I say. So for me, I don't feel uncomfortable. I feel like people actually look out for me, and let me not say, there are people that will look out for you in the States, right? And there are robbers wherever you go. There's good and bad wherever you go. But at least here, there's way more good than there is bad. So for that, I don't feel unsafe.
Good. Thank you for that. Thank you for that perspective, Dada. We appreciate your time.
For sure. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, yes, guys. So like Dada YaYa just mentioned, the opportunities are endless. If you're looking for an educational source, it is here. She has created something for our middle school students, our middle school children who are trying to get their mind developed, and the parents who are trying to put them in a place to get their mind developed. She's created a piece of art in the form of documentary that would break the strongholds and show us the truth about our people and leaders over here on the continent. There are things being put in place. We are fighting the good fight. They always say the revolution would not be televised, but it looks like it's coming to the YouTube screens.
Hey.
That's what it looked like.
That's what it looks like to me.
That's what it looked like. So, hey, y'all, we over here doing the work. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you made it to the end of the video, we appreciate it. And that means you have a very long attention span. So congratulations, you made it to the end. Most people would have clicked out a long time ago, but you're special. So hit the subscribe button so you can keep getting some of this long content, all right? All right, we appreciate it. And if you're interested in finding my sister anywhere, I will link all of her contacts in the description box at the bottom so y'all can find everything she's working on and go reach out to her. And yes, also, if you're interested in getting a repatriation consultation and figuring out how to get over here for your specific needs, we are offering consultations, and if you're interested in that, the link will be in the description box. And if you want to reach out to us about anything, because right now, the way that the world is looking, the emails that are coming in, people are running and fleeing out of that place. So we're putting things in place. We get so many emails from people, so it's not a complaint. We're understanding what's going on, so we're putting things in place to help people. So, you know, if you need help, just make sure you reach out to us on the website, t3andme.org. And like I say, reach out to my sis if you want to get some of her products or what she's offering to you guys. Make sure you show her love as well. So, Asante sana dada YaYa.
Asante.
Yes,
Asante
yes.
sana.
Karibu.
Nashukuru.
Yes. So, hey, hit the subscribe button and make sure you stay safe if you're still in America, all right? If you're still stuck, pole sana. I pray you make it out and you're able to come and get some of this love from the foundation that's been laid over here, man. Take a chance on yourself. Go ahead and get your mind right, get your children's mind right. The stuff is here for you to do it, all right? So y'all be safe over there. Keep the shalom peace, and I hope y'all make it over here. All right, be safe.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Two of Malim's, the biggest policies that he had was Ujamaa and then Nakuji Tegemea. Ujamaa is basically African socialism. We all are together, we're helping each other. And Kuji Tegemea is education for self-reliance. So my Wasco Academy was birthed from learning those policies, really and truly. I felt like, okay, so if the policy says that you got to teach the children how to close the market, right? Like all the way from production to distribution, then my curriculum should reflect that as well, you know? So that's in my Wasco Academy, and Ujamaa is, you know, Tuko Pamoja, we are together, and that's the spirit of my Wazo as well.
Ah, poorly.